Hello, I'm Leisa Holland-Nelson, and welcome to another episode of Culture Club's Friends at the Fireplace. I'm excited to be here today with the
Shavonnah Robert Schreiber, the other half of Culture Club HTX, and
oh my God. This is really going to be my favorite episode. There's no doubt about it.
She's been talking about this for, I don't know, weeks. She's
We're 3 months old, so maybe 12 weeks.
Maybe almost 12 weeks.
So we're starting the month of June, which is National Fitness Month. We think. She said it, so I believe it.
She said it. But
and we've decided to make it our fitness month. And so as you all know, what do we say at the end of every show? Stay focused, stay fabulous.
This is right.
This month we're adding and stay fit, because you can't be fabulous if you're not fit.
Agreed.
You can't. So we generally, in these little segments, most people know we're kind of a little concentrating on fashion. What is more fashionable than being fit?
Nothing.
So we're here today.
Because if you're fit, then you can just walk around naked. Which is, I mean, right?
Like I've been doing that at my house. I never did it.
I always do
It's
it.
getting lazy. I mean, I live alone, so, you know.
No more cheetah pajamas. Just
Well, no, I wear my pajamas, but sometimes, you know, waiting, I don't know. Why am I talking about this?
I'd like to talk about that more. Let's go.
Welcome.
Yes.
Our guest today, Mimi Almaseed. Is that correct?
Almasidi, yeah.
Almasidi.
Perfect.
And Cole Ryden. And I
Yeah.
want you to know I called you Cole Ryder forever, which really
All right.
does make sense with your
It
name.
works for my name, you know?
So Mimi is from Cycle Bar and Cole is from Soul Cycle, River Oaks. And I love them both so much. It's hard for me not to actually slobber right now.
Well, and you take both of their classes.
I take both of
sometimes.
their classes.
So sometimes she sees you, and then she comes to see. I don't know who teaches first, but
Probably he teaches
Yeah.
first.
8:30.
Yeah.
and then she comes to see you. So you should be very excited about that.
Honored.
So tell us a little bit. So tell us a little bit more about Mimi. Let's start with you. Tell us a little bit more about you. I know you're from Cyprus, but tell us more. Generally speaking, who is Mimi?
Mimi is, thank you very much for having me, by the
course.
way. I would say I am somebody that loves to empower people, to make them feel whatever strong means to them. And I'm from Cyprus, which is like Northwest Houston. Played soccer competitively for most of my, elementary, middle school, high school. And then I wasn't fast enough to run on a soccer field and keep up with everybody in that competitive nature. So I wanted something that was just as competitive and fun, and I love music. And so I decided that, passing by a spin class, I was like, they're playing Beyonce.
So this is her life, Beyonce.
Done.
I mean, done, right?
Yeah, so it was great. You could be as fast or as slow as you wanted to based on the beat. And it just really spoke to me in a way that it could be competitive, it could be fun. And oh my gosh, it's a great workout. So that's me.
So Cole, speaking of music, did you know that Cole has a band? But before we get to that,
One I've heard of.
Gravity Kings. Yeah.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about you.
From Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Born and raised, and studied theater my entire life. Studied musical theater.
Where?
I went to Sam Houston for college.
Okay.
And then did a private art school for high school. So it's like HSPVA, but
So
smaller.
did my daughter. You
Nutrition-based.
had to be in her class.
Probably, yeah.
You're the same age.
Yeah.
Laura Max Nelson
yeah.
was her name.
We probably all ran together.
You had to be
You know?
there. Oh my God.
All singing.
Yeah,
Even
all
doing
singing
jazz
and
hands.
acting and doing
She
all
was a
of it, dancing.
vocalist.
Okay.
Were you
I
in
was a
drama?
vocalist. Yeah.
You were a vocal?
Yeah. But I didn't go to HSPVA. It was smaller.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
smaller school.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that took me and led me to, I did Tuts for a long time after college. Did a lot of shows there. And then got into fitness when I moved to New York and just needed a part-time job. And that job was at Soul Cycle. And that's what led me to becoming an instructor and eventually brought me back to Houston. which
So
was
wait a
great.
minute, when you were in New York at SoulCycle, did you take a job there or did you just go for
I
class?
worked front desk.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It was one of the 3 jobs I had to support myself through,
3 at a
theater.
time.
Oh yeah, 3 at a time.
And so you went from front desk to what made you say, you know what, fitness is where, because you just told us that you love fitness, you've been a soccer player. So what about you? How did you go from administrative?
I wanted a change. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to get out of theater and something more stable. And they had always asked like, hey, would you ever want to be an instructor? And then SoulCycle was opening up a lot of studios in 2016.
Yes.
And then they were like, hey, we're going to open up some studios in Houston. And I was like, I'm from Houston. So it was perfect timing. It just happened and it was great. And that's how I kind of got into it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, how did you stumble upon Mimi and Cole? Do you remember? Randomly?
I'm not sure how I got to Cycle Bar in the Heights.
You've been taking spin forever.
I've been taking spin. We figured out since 96, 97, or 98. Really a very long time. I was going to define with a passion. I love Henry Richardson. I loved his spin classes, and he just sort of stopped teaching what they called Rev and was teaching the other classes. A couple of years ago, I think this happened. So I had a membership, believe it or not that it transferred, but to Cycle Bar in Aspen, which there isn't a SoulCycle in Aspen. So my kids are there and I was going to Cycle Bar, and I'd been to cycle bars all over the country. So I went to, I don't know how I even went to the Heights, but I went to the Heights, and I don't know how I found you.
Miracles.
It was
We need
not
a
really
miracle.
a miracle, but the first time I got in your class, I was never going anywhere else. And I was doing the same thing I do to you. I was bothering her at the end of it. Like I'm just standing there.
Not bothering.
And in the beginning,
You're
remember,
never
I was
bothered.
complaining about anyone in the front row who wasn't good.
She's very judgy in that
Well,
way.
I'm not judgy. If I'm in the second row, you better be damn good for me to follow you.
You have expectations.
I do.
I
I
like
do.
it.
My friend, Sippy Karana, Sippy was in
Yeah,
front of me
Sippy.
yesterday.
God.
She was fabulous.
She's
I thanked her over and over. I could not get over how great she was. She
just
looked
Yeah.
and fabulous.
great.
So one of the things that you talk about
Yeah.
is that you want to make fitness accessible and fun, and
Yes.
it's not about a body size or a certain image. So tell us a little bit more about your
Well,
philosophy
let me,
around
before
that.
she does that,
Okay.
I don't mean to break you in, but
No,
I'm going to
of
tell
course.
how I found Cole.
Okay, how'd you find Cole?
The drive to Cycle Bar in Heights for me is 35 minutes on Saturday and Sunday. So what was
I am
happening
worth it.
was I
That's
wasn't going
nice.
at all during the week. It was too far away. I couldn't get there. There wasn't really a 9:30 class or whatever I thought. So I decided I'll just try out SoulCycle. I don't know.
Reluctantly.
Well, all my friends all went to SoulCycle,
Yeah.
but I just didn't. I kept going to Define, and it wasn't that I had anything against it. It just was everybody loved it, so why should I, right? You know that.
Right.
And I think you were my first teacher. I've only had two classes now with other teachers. But as you two both know, I get addicted. I don't, at this point, I may not even need you in the class to do the class.
She actually said that.
Right.
She's
I love that.
pretty confident that she could teach the class.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not teaching the class.
Let's
I am
do
not
it.
She
confident.
definitely could.
Yeah.
I cannot. No,
Oh,
I cannot.
now
And
she
I do
changes
not
the
want to
story.
train to do that.
So do
Yeah.
you know we're both personal trainers? We're both certified personal trainers.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You trained.
I
really
actually,
did.
I'm a real,
Okay.
I actually
She's a
train
real
people.
trainer.
I don't train
I'm
people
only
now.
certified. I'm certifiably everything, as you well can imagine. But anyway, so that's how I met Cole.
Hysterical.
And
then
back to now,
back to
their missions, because
Yes.
they have great ones.
So yours is all around accessibility, fun, no matter the body type or fitness level.
I mean, she's in gorgeous shape. Look at her.
Listen,
So tell us more
Yeah.
about this.
I think it's so important to be committed to like changing the narrative on you have to be this by the time you try something new and difficult, like a spin class. I'm sure Cole and I both will agree a spin class is not like an entryway to start a fitness journey. But those people that take that chance to say, I went on like a 2-mile walk, that was so big for me. Now I'm going to try a spin class. you're just leveling up your workout so much and you don't even realize it. Like people probably go from 2 miles to 2.5 miles of a walk. But if you step foot in a spin studio, you're committed to doing something better for your health. And we, as instructors and the staff that are at each of our facilities, have a huge responsibility to continue your confidence, but you have to kind of take it from there. But to me, I've never been thin. I've always loved lifting weights, and I have always loved muscle, and a pant size, a weight on a scale has, like, I was 30 pounds heavier and teaching a spin class, and I always think about that, and I'm like, I was able to keep up. That's interesting, because you'd think that at 30 pounds heavier, so you're never going to be at a specific weight, at a specific number, at a specific pant size, an age, whatever it might be. You just have to start, and you have to be committed to being uncomfortable in that journey to get there. So
I think that's right.
that's my mission.
What about you, Cole?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the along the same lines as Mimi's saying. I think for me, it's really just encouraging people to step out and encouraging them to just try something new, right? And sometimes, like you said, you stepped in and you're like, I fell in love with both of these classes.
She said that she became addicted and started
yeah,
stalking.
addicted, right? Exactly.
That sounds better. She fell in love. That
She
sounds
fell in
better.
love, but
That sounds better.
I think it's there's something, like she's saying, it's empowering when you walk away and you feel like you've accomplished
feel
something.
fabulous.
You feel good, and it doesn't have to be that you've done all the moves or you've done the resistance so heavy or you've hit every single marker. It's just, I want people to walk away from my class feeling accomplished. Because if you feel accomplished, then you're going to want to come back to something
and I
like
think at having gone to Soul Cycle, when we were talking about this, in different cities, including the one here in River Oaks, the way the classes, and I'm sure it's similar as Cycle Bar, are structured, that it makes you feel, no matter what your resistance was on or how you felt when you walked in, when you complete that class, you feel accomplished and strong.
Yes.
You feel strong, and I think it's not just the actual exercise, but it's the narrative, it's the encouragement, it's the looking at your partner next to you and the high fives. And so it really is this community of, we can do this together, which I think is huge when it comes to someone stepping out from a fitness standpoint.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
And cycling is group. I mean,
Yeah,
it really
it's group,
is.
right.
I mean, you feel and you feed off the energy of the
Yes,
people around
Without
you.
a doubt.
It's
And-
exactly what you said. I mean, looking at Sippy on the front row, you're motivated by what she's doing.
Warning,
Right? And
do not sit on the front row if you're not going to bring it, if Lisa's in class. Warning.
If Lisa's in
Everybody else is okay.
Yeah, but if Lisa's in the class,
She has told me to chill.
do not sit on the front row.
She
'cause
did.
it's gonna
Mimi
be-
told me. I mean, come on.
This is someone's first time and you're all like,
they're new.
They're
They're new.
They're like,
Shouldn't be on
she's
the
like
front
that.
row. I'm sorry. I wouldn't go on the front row if I was new.
Sometimes they just get placed there.
Again,
Unfortunately.
I'll stop.
That's right.
so tell us a little bit about your workout beyond teaching. So do you work out in addition to your actual classes? Because I mean, I know that's obviously a lot, right?
Well, I see them shining in the classes, so they're working out there. I can
No,
tell
that's what I mean,
you.
in addition to, though. That's what I mean. Like, so do you also have a different workout that you do, or you mainly do?
yeah, I mean, I have a gym membership and, I try to lift weights. It's just, I think teaching 12 classes a week, the last thing on your mind is like, yeah, I want to go work out more.
Yeah, right.
But definitely, like, I would say strength training is where it's at, because it's a lot of cardio. So your body is just used to it at this point, and your heart rate gets up to a level of like, hey, I can do this for, I can teach 3 classes in a day.
Right.
No problem. So yeah, for me, it's more of strength training.
Yeah. I think that's incredible that you teach 12 classes a week. That's insane.
Okay, so I was gonna say,
It is a
give
lot.
me a point of reference. So, like, what is normal?
I do fitness part-time. So like fortunately and unfortunately, I'm just teaching like maybe 4 to 5
A week.
a week.
And you
max.
teach 12.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. So that's a big difference between, I totally see that, because whenever I teach my 4 classes a week, it's like hard to find a day that you want to work
Yeah,
out, you want to
for
lay
sure.
down. You want to lay down. You want to
get
sleep
flat.
in. You want to
Do a
drink
plank,
water.
Right, exactly.
Water,
Yeah,
I know, just
yeah.
water.
Yeah, just
Hydration.
water.
Just water.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I teach maybe 4 or 5 times a week, and I did that actually. I prioritized strength training maybe a year ago. I was finding that I wasn't feeling good. I currently have an autoimmune disease, and so I wasn't feeling strong in my joints, and I felt like I was like losing some functionality and getting sore more often.
Interesting.
And I used to do CrossFit almost exclusively, and I love CrossFit. Love it. I love functional movement. I got my mom to try it, but the competitive nature of CrossFit really was a little bit too much. It was like, okay, now I'm 37. I need to like, if something is scary and like a box jump is something they do in CrossFit, very simple move, right? I would almost always hit my knee. And so I was like, maybe I just modify and don't do those things.
Yeah.
And I started to feel like, oh, I could do heavier weights and step up on a box versus like no weight and jump up on
yeah.
a box. So I strength train at least 4 times a week. I have 1 rest day. Other than
What
that,
day do you rest?
it depends. It depends on how crazy my other work schedule is, Monday or Tuesday. So today I'm going to go work out after this. And like, I have a really crazy day tomorrow. So I know like mentally, I'm just going to, it's okay. Because I have a problem with, I don't like not working out. I feel
Me
so
too.
lazy if
Yeah.
I
Me
don't
too.
work out. But like my nutrition coach and therapist have also said like, you need a day. You're okay. Just rest.
Well, and also
Well, go ahead.
the personal trainer in me will say, you
yeah.
definitely need a day because you need a recovery day.
Yep.
I mean, even elite athletes, you have to have a
Yeah.
recovery. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take a walk or, do something.
Right.
You can move, but you don't need to work out, whether it's
Right.
cardio or weightlifting.
Exactly.
You just don't. So you do need the day. Mentally, physically, your body
Yeah.
needs that day. What are you
sure.
about to say?
Same. Just that
Yeah.
Tuesdays are my day off.
It is Tuesday.
Hey!
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
how interesting to know, because
I
I
know.
can never come on Tuesday.
Right.
Tuesday is
Good.
my day here.
That's good. It worked out.
You have to work, huh?
Great
Here.
coordination.
I don't
She
always
can't go to
work
spin
here.
class. Right.
So, but I work here on Tuesday because we record our podcast. We
Yeah.
do all the stuff that.
But you were
my
about to
face
ask
has
something
do.
about, was it around the rest day or strength training?
I was going to talk a little bit about the rest day because for me it's really hard.
Yeah.
And I did one Saturday, which was really hard for me
Yeah.
because I was so fortunate to be going to a wonderful celebration, bar mitzvah of one of the rabbis at my congregation's child. So it was glorious.
Yeah.
But it was at 11, so I wasn't going at 8:30. You know what I mean?
Right.
You weren't there, so I didn't know who that was, so I wasn't doing that at 8:30. And I couldn't get, I almost called you to say I'm not getting there today.
Yeah.
And then I can't believe this because I was out of town 2 weeks before. And I just was a mess. I was just I wasn't recovering anything. I was not
I think
happy.
the thing that is important if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, well, I want to do spin or any kind of fitness routine, and you want to start that. This is, you said you started spinning in 96, 97. I mean,
When it started.
worked out my whole life. And so I do think that it's important for people to sort of take, you have to step your way
Gradually.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is actually more balanced to have a rest day. So don't be like us, right? This is
Yeah.
not the model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The very reasonable Shavonnah Roberts Schreiber has spoken.
Yeah, I mean, because I just think about it. I mean, I think, it is almost like a mental training that you have to give yourself permission to rest.
Oh, it's hard.
And it's hard. And
very
so this
hard.
is why I say, okay, I get it. You can't just sit on the couch. Go for a walk, get your steps, and you have to train yourself to be balanced because otherwise you get injured. See, and this is how it goes, right? So injuries then prohibit you from working out for many, many, many
Yeah.
weeks versus taking one rest day a week.
Right.
I'm just here I'm the balanced one.
You
That's
can
right.
always be the balanced
Yeah.
one.
So speaking of fitness advice, what's the best piece of fitness advice you've ever received? Like, think about your career from a training standpoint, from your personal fitness. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Don't wait. Like if you're interested in doing something, whether it be a spin class or learning more about pickleball or whatever it is, start. It's not going to get any easier, or it's not, just start. And you don't, I wasn't an expert at spin. I don't think I'm an expert now.
You just
but
like Beyonce.
yeah, that's true. Beyonce, if you're out there,
Come to your class.
and you're watching this, she's watching this.
She's
okay?
she's watching
She's definitely
this.
watching. Just start. I would say like you get better at things. You do not get better at things you do not attempt. So whether it's a spin class, great. Find an instructor that you really like and sit in the back, and you don't have to do all the moves. No, there's never been a class where everyone does everything all the time. I don't know if you find that, but like there's varying degrees of expertise in our classes, and it's okay. I love that. If you want to sit down and do the movements we're doing out of the saddle, I love that. I think that's great. If you don't want to lift the bar when we're doing bar work and you just are really geared into those numbers, I love that. You're making the choice to do something that you want, but don't wait. Start now and make that small step and effort.
Yeah. I would say change doesn't happen overnight, right? I mean, it piggybacks off of what she's saying about you've got to start it, you've got to try it. If you don't, then it won't happen. But at the same time, don't lead into something thinking, hey, this overnight is going to make me feel and be a different person. Right? It's little bit by little bit. It's little challenges that you win and overcome that make you stronger along the way. And I think, so, it doesn't happen overnight, and just keep with it. Right?
What's a lifestyle? I mean, it really is. It's a
is.
lifestyle. It's not we're going on vacation. Let me hurry up and get in shape. Right? No, this is just your life. It becomes your life.
I agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, fast fad diet, excuse me. If eating right really tastes good. And if you're clever, it can taste even better. I mean, the hacks I have that I've been pulling off for 50 years, they're like, people don't even believe what's actually going in their mouths at my house.
But let's talk about nutrition a bit. So
Yeah.
for you especially, Cole, because if you teach, you said 10 classes or 12?
12,
Talk to us
And
about
water,
nutrition, because
that
that's
too.
important. Hydration
Yeah.
and nutrition. What do you do to stay?
Definitely a lot of hydration. Definitely in the early years of teaching was very dehydrated for many years, just without even knowing it, eating a lot of protein, refueling yourself. It matters what you put in. I think with cardio, a lot of the times you get out of a class and you're like, I'm not really hungry, because your body's just fueling itself, right? But it's really matters what you put in right after, especially with something like spin.
I've always heard that.
Yeah, because it's going to take and feed off of those nutritional
What do you
things.
recommend? Like, just if someone, like, again, they're just starting out, they're like, yes, I'm doing spin. I just started on week 1. Now I need to eat.
So proud of you.
What do you recommend? Like, just from a snack, right?
I mean,
after
I'm
class.
not a huge eater, so for me, it's hard. I would probably say something like a chicken, like Caesar salad with chicken, something like that after class. A smoothie is going to be great. Add that in. Yeah,
That's
probably.
good. What about you?
Yeah.
Anything different from a nutrition standpoint?
I would I don't eat before I teach any of my classes, like at least like 2 or 3 hours before any of my classes. I just don't like the way I feel.
Yeah, I don't eat before workout.
So I teach primarily in the evening, so I have to obviously eat, but I eat an earlier lunch on those days. But I would say protein is really important. Are you asking like after
Afterward,
class?
yeah, after class.
Honestly, after class, I'm not hungry at all.
I know, but Cole just said, even though you're not hungry, you have to eat.
But I would typically, I don't know if we're plugging like certain places, but I love My Fit Foods. Is honestly, they come into our studio all the time, but I live for My Fit Foods taco bowl. I would eat that my whole life if I could. And it has a lot of protein. It has about 36 grams of protein.
That's pretty good.
9 grams of fat and 30 grams roughly around for carbs. And I just will add a little bit more of like ground chicken or ground turkey. Protein and carbs are the most important things to have after a workout. regardless of what it is. And so replenishing, like carbs are bad, that's false.
Well, we know that's not
Like if you're eating a package of Lay's, that's not great, but okay, it's okay. Put some protein in there with you. But I would say it's important to have protein and carbs specifically after a workout class.
So then on the other side of that, worst fitness advice, not necessarily about nutrition, but it could be, but like worst fitness advice that maybe when you first started, someone said and you're like, okay, that's not true. Now that you are pros.
I mean, I used to hear a lot like push through the pain.
It's
Who said
literally what I was
A
about
lot
to
of people
say.
used to say
A lot of
that.
people used to say
Oh,
that.
that was
And it
very,
was-
What fool said that?
Especially,
Yeah.
years ago.
especially cycling. You
Push
know,
through
if
the
it- Push through the
pain?
pain. Yeah.
Literally
She has
wrote
it
that
there.
down.
You have it
That's
too?
my
Yeah.
exact.
Do not push through
Yeah, right?
Don't
Do
push
not
through
Yeah,
the
don't
push
push through the pain.
through the pain.
If it doesn't feel right, especially in cycling, just
Stop.
stop. Just
Yeah.
sit down, reset, and then try it again. Yeah.
Totally exactly what I was going to say. Like my example of like CrossFit box jump too, like push through the pain. Like they're like, oh, mentally get through it. You can jump higher. You can jump. And you can, like you can train and get better at jumping higher, but like your brain is exhausted. So like no matter how much you train for that box jump, sometimes it's okay. Modify.
Yeah.
Don't push through something that's gonna hurt you, like, and then it becomes not fun. Then you don't come back to our classes.
Well, then you injure yourself.
And
Right.
then, yeah, you
And then
injure
you're out
yourself.
again. There you go.
So one of the things I think is really important that we've talked about, actually, the reason that I became a personal trainer is when I just love working out, but also I thought, you know what? I'm going to work out forever. So when I'm no longer working in the traditional sense, then I'll just train. And I thought I could be an example that you can, as we age, you can continue to work out. So flexibility, are you said you're 37.
Yep.
So like just as you're working in your class, which obviously you have people of all ages and fitness
Yeah.
levels, how much do you focus on flexibility before and after in your classes?
We do like a little stretch. I mean, it's built in a 3-minute stretch at the
3
end of our
minutes is
classes.
long.
It's
I mean-
long. I mean, considered. I mean, half the time, a lot of the people hurry out.
I
Yeah.
want to
The
yell
class
at
will be
them and
done
say,
they
I
just-
know.
Right.
Well, that's
Don't
why
do that.
that's why I'm
I know.
asking, because I think
Yeah.
what
I've said that.
happens in the beginning, I mean, I was like never
Right.
stretching. It should be like this badge of honor, and it was ridiculous.
Right.
But it's so important because flexibility, mobility,
Right.
all of
Yeah.
these things, our body's a system. It all works
totally.
together,
It's
so you
huge.
can continue
Totally.
to do all the things you want to do. and be
People are
active.
not hydrating enough and they're not stretching enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're going to like an amazing spin class, an amazing strength training. You know, there's a lot of like Orange Theory F45s out there. And yeah, the 2-3 minutes at the end of our class, that's technically stretching, but like after you take a shower and you're watching the news or prepping the meals, like just do a little stretch, just move your body
It
in a
is
different
not
way.
hard.
Yeah.
You can put it
It's
into
so
your
important.
lifestyle.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I think stretching in some ways feels like a rest day to people, right?
Yeah.
Like in our, it doesn't feel as active. So I think it's like a
Right.
mental thing. You have
Yeah.
to get past like, no, this is good for my body, even though it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything.
Well, there's
Yeah.
different flexibilities for people.
Right.
You know, I mean, some people, they can barely touch their foot where others can grab their foot, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
just from the dance background of taking dance from theater, I mean, that was the only way you got better at stretching was to stretch.
And you
to
could-
continue to stretch it, right?
Yeah.
Continue to
You
keep-
get better.
And the other
Right,
side is you
exactly.
can always get your flexibility back.
That's right.
It's moving your
This is
whole
good.
life.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
you
never
can.
all gone. If you
Never.
work at it, it comes back.
That's right.
So
So
I
it
think
is
that's
important.
so
I would say
important.
to your question, it's very important.
So-
And yeah.
So I think one of the things that I always recommend, like, okay, so you maybe watch this and thinking, okay, spin is maybe my goal. So what can I do now? So walking, excellent. Stretching. And then we talk about strength training, and I think most people think weights, but your body is a weight, right? So even using your body weight to do different
Yeah.
movements,
For sure.
planks, push-ups, modified or not, whatever. I mean, like all that is good. And then you can work your way up to something more challenging, like a spin class.
Right.
I just think it's important. And I mean, and I think
Yeah.
about, I remember one person I used to train at the Downtown Y, had cancer and had surgery, and they could barely lift like 2.5 pounds. when we first started. And then by the time we were done, they were curling 25 pounds. And it was just so interesting because they didn't think they could do it.
Yeah.
They literally, you talk about mentally, did
Yeah.
not think that they could ever. And then, I mean, they were so strong and they just started working out, at that point in their like kind of mid 60s.
Yeah.
And so to your point about it's never too late, to your point about just starting.
Never too late.
And like this month is a great month to start. I know it's hot outside, so if you don't want to go walk outside, well, you can go in the morning.
Our
It's great in
studios
there.
are air conditioned.
There.
Yeah, they are. So cold. They're both cold,
very
actually.
Yeah.
So tell people how they can find you. I understand that you have pretty robust Instagram and social media followings. So how can people find you?
Mimi, my first name, Mimi, Spin Strong, is my Instagram handle, Mimi Spin Strong. I'm always on the schedule. Cycle Bar Houston Heights. There's 2 cycle bars really close by, but we're the Houston Heights location. I throw a mean Throwback Thursday every Thursday.
What time is your Throwback Thursday class?
6 p.m. every
We
Thursday.
could start doing that.
We could.
We record like 3:30 to 4:30.
We
Yeah.
could start
Is
doing
that when we do it? 4 to 5? What time do we?
Are you going to be in front of her? Because there's
I can be in the
can
front
be
row.
in front.
I can be in the
She
front
can
row.
be
Yeah.
I trust her.
Yeah, I can be in the front row. I
She
won't-
knows better. I'd pick her.
Exactly. I know better. I would only get in the front row if I could do it. So
yeah.
what about you? Where can
Yeah.
people find you?
I'm on Instagram. My name is Soul Riding. So
Soul
it's
Riding.
like Soul Cycle and then Soul Riding. Yeah.
So what class? 8:30?
I teach every day besides Tuesdays. So I'll teach 9:30s across the board, 6:30 a.m., 6:30 p.m.s.
Don't go to 9:30 when Leisa goes
I
unless
go almost every day at night.
She's there at 9:30.
unless you get on
We
the
can go to-
second row.
You can
Yeah.
come there with me. We'll go to a night.
Yeah.
I need to alter a little bit.
Yeah, you can switch it up. That's
And then
also
on
good
the
for your
weekends.
body.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm there on the weekends as well. Yeah, which is fun.
Guys, I know if anybody's watching this, I have not stopped grinning ear to ear. This is as great as I expected it to be. I am so happy. I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you all for
both.
having
Yeah.
us. Thank you,
Of
Lisa.
You know, we know that you're going to stay focused and stay fabulous.
And stay fit. And if you have questions, please leave comments, send us notes on all of our socials. We'll be sure that they get to Cole and Mimi, and we would love to see you in a class. We'll let you know when we go, and maybe we can do it together.
You can join us.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
But not in
Not
front of
in-
Lisa.
not in the front row.
Not in front
Just
of
don't get in front of me.
Lisa.
Unless you're going to really be good. It's okay. If you're
Yeah.
good, it's
But just
fine.
start, right?
Yeah,
Just start.
that's right.
And if you just start, don't get in front of Lisa. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.